Listen carefully, beloved, because heaven is speaking to you right now. I am not here by accident, and neither are you listening by chance. God aligned you with this person for a reason that will shake your heart and soften it at the same time. You have been asking God in silence, late at night, when no one sees your tears. You wondered if this connection was real or just another lesson wrapped in pain. And God says, this was not confusion. This was confirmation in disguise. I am an angel sent to speak plainly to your spirit, not to entertain you, but to awaken you, not to flatter you, but to tell you the truth heaven agreed on. This person entered your life at the exact moment your faith was tired, when your prayers felt unanswered and your strength felt thin. God aligned them not because you were strong, but because you were ready. Scripture says in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11, God makes everything beautiful in its time, not early, not late, but on purpose. And this alignment was timed by God, not by desire, not by loneliness. Before you keep listening, pause for a moment. Subscribe to Angelic Lights, because messages like this find you when your soul is hungry. Like this video if your heart already feels seen, and comment one powerful word below: I receive. This person mirrors parts of you that you tried to hide from God. They exposed wounds you prayed would stay buried. They triggered healing you kept delaying. That is why it hurt. That is why it confused you. That is why it felt holy and painful at the same time. God says, I aligned you with them to reveal you to yourself, not to break you, but to mature you, not to distract you, but to prepare you. You thought love was supposed to only feel gentle, but God says, sometimes love is the fire that burns chains off your soul. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. Sparks fly when sharpening happens. That does not mean destruction, it means refinement. This connection challenged your patterns. It interrupted your comfort. It forced you to confront what you kept tolerating. That is not coincidence. That is correction wrapped in connection. Beloved, share this video with someone who needs clarity right now. Do not keep divine confirmation to yourself. God says, I did not send this person to replace me. I sent them to remind you of me. You were praying for growth, and growth answered in human form. You were asking for alignment, and alignment came with emotions. You were asking God to prepare you for destiny, and destiny knocked through this person. Jeremiah 29:11 says God knows the plans He has for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. But prosperity often comes through process, not comfort. This person was part of the process. Some of you are still holding guilt. You think you failed because it didn't unfold how you imagined. But God says obedience does not always look like permanence. Jesus Himself walked with people for a season. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay forever. Stop judging the alignment by the outcome. Judge it by what changed inside you. Pause here and breathe. Like this video if something just clicked in your spirit. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so you never miss when heaven speaks again. This person awakened your capacity to love deeper. They revealed how much you were settling before. They exposed what you truly deserve. God says, I aligned you with them to stretch your standards, to raise your expectations, to teach you what love should feel like, not what you should survive. You learned how to speak up. You learned how to say no. You learned how to pray instead of panic. That is fruit. and God never wastes fruit. Romans 8:28 says all things work together for good for those who love God. Not some things, all things. Even the conversations that ended in tears. Even the silence that followed. Even the goodbye you didn't want. Beloved, comment below God is not done, because He isn't. This alignment was a doorway, not the destination. God says, I use them to break your old beliefs about love. Bring something healthier, something safer, something sanctified. You are not behind. You are not late. David loved deeply and still became king. Ruth lost everything and still met Boaz. Your story is still holy. Share this message with someone questioning why it hurts so much. Let them know heaven saw it all. I am telling you now, do not go backward, searching for closure. God already closed that chapter with growth. Do not reopen what God completed. Isaiah 43:18 says, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. God is doing a new thing. That new thing requires the new version of you. And this alignment helped build that version. Subscribe to Angelic Lights now. This channel is a meeting place between heaven and your heart. Beloved, you were aligned so you could awaken, so you could mature, so you could be ready when the real promise arrives, and it will arrive. I am still here with you. Do not rush. Do not scroll away. This moment is sacred. God says, many people heard your laughter, but only this person heard your silence. They noticed what you didn't explain. They felt what you couldn't put into words. That is why their presence felt heavy and holy at the same time. Because God used familiarity to expose destiny. You kept asking, why them, God? And God answers, because they could reach places in you no one else could. Not to stay forever, but to unlock you. You were closed. You were guarded. You were surviving, not living. This alignment was God's key. Psalm 66:10 says, for you, God tested us. You refined us like silver. Silver must go through fire to shine. You went through fire to see your worth. Do not minimize what happened. Do not dismiss it as just another relationship. Heaven does not waste encounters. God says, I allowed intensity because I needed transformation. Comfort would not have changed you. You stopped begging for breadcrumbs. You stopped explaining your value. You stopped shrinking to keep peace. That is not heartbreak. That is breakthrough. Pause right now. Like this video if you feel stronger than before. Comment, I am becoming. This person awakened your spiritual senses. You pray differently now. You love more honestly now. You discern faster now. That is evidence of alignment. God says, I aligned you with them to show you how powerful your heart is. Not fragile, powerful. The enemy wanted you to believe your heart was the problem. But God says your heart is the gift. Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. God guarded your heart by allowing it to be stretched, not shattered. You survived emotions you thought would destroy you. You kept faith when answers didn't come quickly. You learned to trust God instead of attachment. That lesson alone is priceless. Beloved, share this video with someone still blaming themselves. They need to hear this truth. Some of you are still hoping they will come back changed, but God says, I already changed the right person. That person is you. Do not confuse nostalgia with calling. What feels familiar is not always what is next. Lot's wife looked back and turned into salt. Do not freeze your future by staring at your past. Genesis 19:26 is not just history. It is warning. God says, I am protecting you by moving you forward, even when your emotions want to go backward. Subscribe to Angelic Lights now. This is where clarity replaces confusion. This alignment was temporary, but the impact is eternal. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are more aware. You no longer chase potential. You now recognize readiness. That is growth. God says, I aligned you with them to raise your discernment. Now you can see red flags without ignoring them. Breathe. Now you can feel peace without anxiety. That is preparation for covenant. Psalm 37:23 says the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. Even the painful steps, even the confusing ones. Your steps were ordered. Stop apologizing for feeling deeply. Jesus wept. Depth is not weakness. This person showed you what connection feels like when souls meet. So you will never settle for shallow again. That is why it had to happen. Like this video if you refuse to settle again. Comment, I know my worth. God says, I am removing confusion from your heart right now. You did not imagine the connection, but you also do not need to relive it. Honor it. Release it. What God is preparing next requires peace, not chaos. Security, not guessing. Consistency, not hot and cold. And you are finally ready. Share this message with someone who needs closure without going back. Beloved, the reason God aligned you with this person will freeze your heart, because you will realize you survived something that would have broken the old you. And the new you is unstoppable. I am still speaking to you. Do not harden your heart now. This is the part where understanding replaces pain. God says, you were never meant to stay who you were before this connection. That version of you could not handle what is coming next. So I allowed a shaking. Hebrews 12:27 says everything that can be shaken will be shaken. So what cannot be shaken will remain. What remained in you is real. Your faith remained. Your compassion remained. Your hope remained. That means your foundation is strong. You wondered why God allowed you to feel so deeply. Why He did not stop it sooner. Why He stayed silent when you cried. But silence does not mean absence. It means God was working where you could not see. Joseph was silent in prison, but God was preparing a throne. You were quiet in confusion, but God was preparing clarity. This person pulled emotions out of you that prayer alone could not reach. God used proximity to perform surgery. Painful? Yes. Necessary? Yes. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. Like this video if you feel different inside. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so you stay aligned with truth. God says, I aligned you with them to teach you the difference between intensity and intimacy. Intensity feels loud. Intimacy feels safe. You no longer mistake adrenaline for love. Breathe. You recognize peace as divine. That understanding will protect your future. Some of you feel guilt for letting go. But God says obedience sometimes looks like walking away with love. Abraham left without knowing the destination, and God still blessed him. You left without all the answers, and God will still bless you. Do not reach back for explanations God did not assign you to get. Closure is not always conversation. Sometimes it is revelation, and revelation just reached you. Comment: I release with peace. Let your soul hear it. God says, the reason this alignment will freeze your heart is because one day you will look back and realize you almost stayed in something that was not big enough for you, and God intervened through discomfort. You were protected by disappointment. You were redirected by heartbreak. That is divine mercy. Psalm 34:19 says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them from them all. You are being delivered, not delayed. Do not fear starting again. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from wisdom. Share this video with someone afraid to let go. God says, I am aligning you next with someone who will not confuse consistency with boredom. Someone who will not test your worth. Someone who will meet you healed, not hiding. And you will recognize them not by chaos, but by calm. Until then, rest, heal, grow. I am still with you. Heaven is still guiding you. Remain here. Do not rush past this moment. God is still speaking. God says, the reason this alignment feels unforgettable is because it marked the end of an old cycle. You crossed a spiritual threshold without realizing it. You cannot go back, even if you tried. That is why returning feels wrong in your spirit. Your soul has already moved on. You keep asking God, why did it feel so deep if it wasn't forever? And God answers, because depth was the tool, not the promise. Moses saw the burning bush, but he did not live there. The encounter was brief, but the calling was permanent. This person was a burning bush moment. They caught your attention, so God could change your direction. Exodus 3, verse 5 says, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Not because it lasts forever, because God met you there. Honor the ground, but keep walking. Beloved, like this video if your heart understands this now. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so you remain connected to divine clarity. God says, I aligned you with them to expose emotional patterns passed down to you. Patterns of overgiving, patterns of waiting too long, patterns of proving your worth. Those patterns end with you. You are the interruption. You're the answered prayer of generations before you. This alignment broke cycles quietly. No applause, no explanation, just change. That is holy work. Some of you are grieving what could have been, but God says, do not mourn imagination. Celebrate transformation. What could have been is not greater than what will be. Isaiah 55:8 says God's thoughts are higher than yours. That includes his endings. God ended what you were still romanticizing, because romance would have delayed destiny. Stop with a pause. Comment, I trust God's ending. Say it, even if your voice shakes. They revealed how valuable peace is to you. You will never trade it cheaply again. God says, I aligned you with them, so you would finally stop abandoning yourself to keep connection. You learned how to stay whole, even when someone leaves. That is maturity. Jesus walked away when crowds followed for the wrong reasons. He chose alignment over attachment. You are learning the same wisdom. Share this video with someone who feels guilty for choosing peace. God says, the next connection will not feel rushed. It will feel rooted. You will not question where you stand, because confusion will no longer attract you. You will know it is from God because it will not pull you away from God. Psalm 127:1 says, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. What God builds next will stand. You will not have to force it. You will not have to chase it. It will meet you where you are healed. Rest now. Trust now. I am still watching over you. Heaven has not lost sight of you. I am still here, and so is God. Do not tune out now, because this is where the truth settles deep. God says, you thought this alignment was about romance, but it was about readiness. You were asking me to prepare you for covenant, and I answered with contrast. You needed to see what almost fits, so you would recognize what truly does. You prayed, God, remove what is not for me. And when He did, it hurt, because sometimes what is not for you still feels good. But good is not God's highest standard for you. John 10:10 says Jesus came so you may have life, and have it more abundantly. Abundance includes peace. Abundance includes safety. This alignment lacked consistency because it was never meant to carry permanence. You felt drained because your spirit outgrew the container. Do not shame yourself for loving deeply. Love is not your weakness. Discernment is your upgrade. Beloved, like this video if you feel wiser than before. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so wisdom continues to find you. God says, I aligned you with them to teach you to listen to discomfort instead of ignoring it. Your body knew before your mind accepted it. Your spirit warned you before logic caught up. Now you listen. That lesson will save you years. Some of you wonder if you misheard God. But God says, if you misheard me, you would not have grown. Growth is proof of guidance. Ruth did not end up with who she lost. She ended up with who aligned. Your alignment is ahead, not behind. Stop rehearsing old conversations. They were not meant to be perfected. They were meant to be completed. Completion has happened. Comment, it is complete. Let your spirit accept it. God says, I aligned you with them so you would finally stop equating effort with love. Love does not require you to bleed quietly. You were strong enough to endure, but now you are wise enough to choose better. That shift changes everything. Sir, this message with someone who thinks love must hurt to be real. God says, the next season will feel unfamiliar because peace used to feel boring to you. But peace is not boring. It is holy. Your nervous system is healing. Your soul is recalibrating. That is why you feel quiet lately. Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not emptiness. It is preparation. Do not rush the stillness away. I aligned you with them to slow you down, so you would stop chasing and start choosing. You are not missing out. You are aligning up. Subscribe to Angelic Lights now. This is where heaven keeps reminding you who you are. Beloved, one day you will thank God for this alignment, not because it lasted, but because it changed you forever. And you will love again with clarity, not confusion. Stay present. Do not drift. This message is still unfolding for you. God says, the reason this alignment still echoes in your heart is because it rewired how you attach. You no longer cling. You connect with wisdom now. Before this, you confused familiarity with safety. You confused chemistry with calling. Now your spirit knows the difference. That is not loss. That is liberation. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away. The new has come. Something old passed away in you through this alignment. You stopped romanticizing inconsistency. You stopped excusing emotional absence. You stopped negotiating your needs. That is resurrection work. God says, I aligned you with them to break the spell of scarcity. You no longer believe love is rare. You know alignment is sacred. Scarcity says, this is the best I will get. Faith says, God has more. And God always honors faith. Beloved, like this video if your faith feels stronger now. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so your faith keeps being fed. You feared starting over because you thought you would lose the connection. But God says you didn't lose connection. You gained clarity. Clarity is more valuable than comfort. Jesus asked the man at the pool, do you want to be healed? Healing required change. So does freedom. You chose healing. Stop replaying their potential. Potential is not promise. Character is. God says, I aligned you with them so you would stop falling in love with what someone could become and start choosing who someone already is. That wisdom will protect your heart. Comment, strong, I choose wisdom. Let heaven hear your agreement. This alignment also taught you patience. Not waiting for someone to change, but waiting on God to finish His work in you. Waiting is not passive. It is active trust. Isaiah 40:31 says, those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Your strength is renewing now. That is why you feel lighter. That is why you feel clearer. God says, I am removing emotional residue from your spirit. You are not carrying them forward with you. What comes next requires full presence. Share this video with someone who keeps looking back instead of up. Beloved, you were aligned with them so you would finally see how resilient you are. You did not collapse. You did not lose yourself. And rising people attract risen love. The next connection will not require you to prove your worth. They will recognize it. You will not wonder where you stand. You will stand secure. Because insecurity is no longer your language. Subscribe to Angelic Lights now. This is where your spirit keeps getting confirmed. God says, you are not behind. You are becoming precise. In precision brings peace. I am still watching over you. Heaven is still arranging details you cannot see yet. I am still speaking, and heaven has not finished explaining this to your heart. God says, you keep wondering why you cannot hate them, why bitterness never fully took root, why love still feels clean even after pain. That is because this alignment was never meant to corrupt you. It was meant to consecrate you. You learned how to love without losing God. You learned how to feel deeply without becoming dependent. That is spiritual maturity. Luke 10:41 says, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed. You learned what matters and what does not. Before this, you tolerated mixed signals. Now you require clarity. Before this, you waited for effort. Now you expect consistency. God says, I aligned you with them so you would finally stop chasing emotional highs and start choosing emotional health. That shift is holy. Beloved, like this video if your standards have changed. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so your standards stay protected. Some of you felt abandoned when it ended. But God says, I never left you. I was closer than ever, strengthening what needed to survive. When Jacob wrestled with God, he limped afterward. But he also walked with a new name. You may feel tender, but you are also renamed. You are no longer the one who stays too long. You are the one who knows when to release. That is authority. God says, the reason this alignment will freeze your heart is because one day you will realize you were being prepared for a love that requires a healed nervous system. A love that does not feel like survival. A love that does not activate fear. And you could not receive that before now. Psalm 18:30 says, as for God, his way is perfect, even when it felt messy. Stop questioning God's timing. Your heart needed seasoning before it could. Hold promise. Comment, God's way is perfect. This alignment also showed you how strong your prayer life actually is. You prayed through tears. You worshiped through confusion. That kind of faith moves heaven. God says, I saw every tear you wiped away quietly. None of it was wasted. You are not the same person who entered that connection. And that is the point. Share this video with someone who thinks change means loss. Beloved, the next season will not require you to audition for love. You will be met, not measured. You will feel safe being honest. You will feel calm being yourself. Because the person God is aligning next will recognize your healing, not compete with it. Until then, remain still, remain grateful, remain open. I am guarding your heart. Heaven is guarding your future. I am still with you. And God is still unfolding truth gently, layer by layer. God says, the reason you still feel tenderness instead of regret is because this alignment refined your love, not poisoned it. Your heart stayed soft. That is rare. Many people harden after disappointment. You healed. That tells heaven everything it needs to know about you. Matthew 5:8 says, Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Your purity was preserved through pressure. You did not become cynical. You became discerning. That difference matters. God says, I aligned you with them to show you that you can survive emotional depth without drowning. You learned how to come back to yourself. Before this, you feared abandonment. Now you trust God's presence more than human attachment. That is freedom. Beloved, like this video if you feel freer than before. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so freedom keeps finding you. You used to over-explain your feelings. Now, you speak once and stand firm. You used to wait for reassurance. Now, you trust alignment. God says, I aligned you with them to upgrade how you love yourself. You no longer confuse self-sacrifice with self-erasure. Jesus washed feet, but he also withdrew to pray. Love includes limits. Some of you feel strange because peace feels unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Peace used to feel empty because chaos filled space. Now peace feels full because God is filling it. Psalm 23 says, He restores my soul. Restoration feels quiet. Let it be quiet. Do not rush to fill silence with noise or people. Silence is where clarity settles. Comment, I honor the silence. God says, the next connection will not test your anxiety. It will honor your stability. P. You will not need to read between lines. Their actions will speak clearly. P. Because you have outgrown ambiguity. Share this video with someone who keeps mistaking anxiety for attraction. Beloved, the reason this alignment will freeze your heart one day is because you will realize God loved you too much to let you stay where you were shrinking. He disrupted comfort to deliver calling. Proverbs 16:9 says, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Your steps were redirected, not ruined. You are walking into something cleaner, something calmer, something rooted. Until then, stay open, stay grounded, stay faithful. I am still guarding you. Heaven is still arranging what fits you perfectly. I am still here, and heaven is still leaning toward you. God says there is a reason your heart did not collapse when it ended. Grace was carrying you the whole time, but I was holding you. Psalm 37:24 says, though they stumble, they will not fall, for the Lord upholds them with his hand. You stumbled in emotion, but you did not fall in spirit. That is protection. God says, I aligned you with them to show you the difference between being chosen and being cherished. Chosen feels exciting. Cherished feels secure. You tasted excitement. Now you crave security. That shift is maturity speaking. Beloved, like this video if you no longer want chaos disguised as passion. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so truth keeps sharpening your discernment. You once thought intensity meant destiny. But destiny does not drain you. Destiny does not confuse you. God says destiny brings clarity even when it challenges you. You learn to trust your inner warnings. That quiet voice that said, something is off. That voice was me. John 10:27 says, my sheep hear my voice. You heard, and you responded. Even if it took time. Do not shame yourself for the delay. Growth has a pace. You stayed long enough to learn. You left early enough to live. That balance saved you. Comment, I listened. Let your spirit acknowledge obedience. God says, I aligned you with them, so you would stop romanticizing struggle as loyalty. Staying in pain is not faith. Faith knows when to move. Abraham moved when God said go. Bree, you moved when peace left. Both were obedience. Share this video with someone who feels guilty for walking away. Beloved, the next season will require your healed self, not your desperate self, not your proving self. And you are becoming ready. You are less reactive now, more grounded, more prayerful. God says, this alignment taught you how to pause before attaching, how to pray before committing. That will protect your future family. Psalm 128:3 speaks of blessing in the household. God is thinking generations ahead of you. That is why he was careful with your heart. Do not fear waiting. Waiting is where alignment forms. Subscribe to Angelic Lights now. This channel is a reminder that God's timing is intentional. Beloved, one day you will see clearly that this alignment was mercy in motion, a lesson wrapped in emotion, a door that closed to keep you safe. And you will thank God for closing it. Heaven is not finished with you. Your story is still unfolding. I will conclude now, and I want you to listen with your whole heart. God says, this alignment will freeze your heart one day because you will finally see it clearly. Not through tears, not through longing, but through wisdom. You will realize God was kinder to you than you understood at the time. What felt like loss was actually limitation being removed. What felt like rejection was protection in motion. You were not abandoned. You were advanced. Romans 8:32 says, "He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also graciously give us all things?" God does not take without intention to give better. This person did not take your future. They helped shape it. You are walking away stronger, clearer, more aligned with God than ever before. You no longer beg heaven for love. You trust heaven to guide it. That is spiritual authority. God says, I am proud of you. You did not lose yourself. You found yourself. And what is coming will not hurt like this did. It will heal what this exposed. Do not rush ahead. Do not look back. Stand right here in trust. Like this video if your heart feels settled now. Subscribe to Angelic Lights so you continue walking with divine clarity. Comment one powerful word below, Amen, and share this message with someone who needs peace tonight. I am with you. God is guiding you, and your story is far from over.